Suppose we do it in 5 minutes, so what?
Let's take an hour.
Creating a compelling story is incredibly hard to do, and even harder is crafting one so strong that it essentially sets your entire career in motion.
I apologize to the musicians. Seriously, take 10.
But both of these were done to perfection in 1992 with Quentin Tarantino's feature film debut Reservoir Dogs. And while the story stands as one of cinema's all-time greats, it wasn't the first time we'd seen it.
That's your proof? You don't need proof when you have instinct.
Because the overall plot of the film was essentially done 5 years earlier with a film called City on Fire. But the vast majority of that film feels completely different. Because Tarantino didn't have to reference the entire film, he only needed the final 15 minutes.
Big song, get the things, come on! Leave it, Chow, go! Have you died before?
I'm half dead now.
If you haven't seen the film, it centers around an undercover cop named Go Chow as he infiltrates a gang of jewel thieves. And throughout the film, he slowly gains the trust of the group's members, each with their own distinct personalities, like the gang's de facto leader, Fu.
Not really. It's fate. We are now living with our lives.
And after their jewelry heist gets busted by the police, we watch as each member attempts to survive, only to be killed one by one, leading to the remaining survivors trying to determine who betrayed them and tipped off the police.
Yes, he's loyal to us.
Go to hell!
And it's this specific moment of the film that gave Tarantino his main inspiration.
This is bad. This is so fucking bad. Is it bad?
Both scenes take place after the jewelry heist has gone wrong and the survivors are back at their safe house, with both films utilizing an abandoned warehouse for the setting.
Just drive off, man, because whoever says something knows about this place.
In Reservoir Dogs, it's a much bigger building, giving Tarantino the ability to utilize the space with longer tracking shots and more dynamic movement, whereas in City on Fire, it's a much smaller room, lending itself to the more traditional Hong Kong action style with lingering close-ups to highlight emotion, adding even more to the claustrophobic feeling that Lam was going for.
No one else could have known about the raid, yet we were ambushed by the cops.
And as both films ultimately reach their climax, they do away with the slow, drawn-out build-up, with each film moving from the accusation to the ending in just over 7 minutes, leaving our cop and the henchman he befriended to their ultimate fate.
Face! Drop the fucking gun, buddy!
But it's the build-up to this moment where the two films differ in their approach. While Lam uses a standard narrative structure, introducing us to the characters and showing the lead-up to the heist, Tarantino utilizes his own structure, bouncing between the present and past events as he follows the individual gang members.
I walk in the door, he's like, Vic, I'm so glad somebody's finally here who knows what's going on.
But even certain scenes from these segments were taken directly from City on Fire, like meeting the gang members over coffee.
What? That's far too expensive.
That's without any commission.
Firing 2 weapons at once, and a police officer being tortured.
Is this money from selling guns?
But perhaps the biggest place these two films differ is in the information the audience is shown. First is the heist.
While we were planning this caper, all we did was sit around and tell fucking jokes.
In City on Fire, we experienced the entire job, from the setup to the escape. But in Reservoir Dogs, we don't witness the heist at all, only learning about the details from the characters afterwards.
We're in the place, everything's going fine. Then the alarm gets tripped.
The second aspect is when we learn who the undercover cop is. City on Fire tells us this information immediately, as the beginning of the film centers around him and his life outside the gang.
That's enough.
Leave me alone.
But Tarantino purposely withholds information again, only letting us know who the cop is at the very end of the film.
Listen to me more than Nash, I'm a cop.
And while doing this might seem unique for a film, it actually isn't, because City on Fire isn't the only film Tarantino took inspiration from. But if you found City on Fire interesting, then you might enjoy Boxer from Shantung, which you can watch on Mubi, today's video sponsor. Mubi is a streaming service dedicated to elevating great cinema from all around the globe, and what sets Mubi apart from other streaming services that use algorithms to pick their movies, every film on Mubi is thoughtfully handpicked by a team of curators.
I'm stronger now.
That means you can always find something new to discover, whether you enjoy watching the latest releases or want to dabble in more international cinema.
喝点儿吧，这。
I recently watched Shadow from Hero and House of Flying Daggers director Zhang Yimou, and it was absolutely incredible.
与我这布衣一决高下。
Set during China's Three Kingdoms era, Shadow revolves around a king and his people, who are expelled from their homeland but aspire to reclaim it.
哪像你，不敢收复荆州，一味委曲求全。
The journey through Shadow is extremely rich, with a world full of various characters, each with their own motives. But once the action begins, the cinematography truly shines, with breathtaking sequences and impressively choreographed combat.
你上下离家，还记得回家的路吗？
You can try Mubi for free for 30 days at mubi.com/incinematic. That's mubi.com/incinematic for a whole month of great cinema for free.
There's a slight difference.
Very funny. You know what I mean.
Reservoir Dogs might be a film about a failed robbery, but the heist itself isn't the point of the film at all. Because rather than make a typical crime film centered around the planning and execution of said plan, Tarantino wanted to make a film about paranoia, and he knew just the film to reference.
These men are trapped in this situation in this Arctic research center, and so one or more of them are possibly this thing that's going to devour all of them, and no one knows if you are the guy I've known forever or if you're a thing.
And much like Reservoir Dogs, the majority of the film takes place in a singular, isolated location.
When I started writing Reservoir Dogs, I was like, I need to have that aspect that's in the thing. I need to trap these bastards. I need to trap them in this warehouse. And no one can trust anybody else. And I want the paranoia of what's going on in that warehouse to bounce across the walls, and hopefully, like in The Thing, it will go out into the audience.
This is why we don't learn who the cop is until the very end. What made The Thing so great is that we never truly know who to trust when watching the film. And in a similar vein, we don't know which member of the group was responsible for tipping off the police.
But that was then. Right now, this guy is the only one I completely trust.
Though personally, I wish Tarantino had taken a page out of City on Fire and waited until the very end of the film. The dynamics of this moment would have been more interesting if we didn't know who to trust either.
I don't know what you think you know, but you're wrong.
Like hell I am.
But even after this scene, the endings are nearly identical. Two men, with certain doom closing in on them, but it cuts to black before we know what happens, leaving the audience to speculate at the ending.
Won't last long, though.
Neither will we.
But it's certainly not the first time Tarantino has used a reference like this. In fact, many of his films and iconic scenes come from his interpretation of shots from his favorite films. But what makes Reservoir Dogs different is that he fully expanded upon the material he referenced, giving the film a unique story and introducing audiences to his distinct story structure and dialogue.
You shoot me in a dream, you better wake up and apologize.
But whether you think this is plagiarism or simply an homage, one thing that can't be disputed is the amount of passion that Tarantino has for film.
The thing about like film geeks is they have an intense love for film. Incredible love for film, incredible passion. They devote a lot of time, they devote a lot of money, and they devote a lot of their life to the following of film.
I'm Luke.
Who cares what your name is?
Yeah, that's easy for you to say. You're Mr. White.
Thanks for watching.
Are you gonna bark all day, little doggy, or are you gonna bite?